LeBron announced he's going to the Sixers. You know, we wanted to be very, very, very tight to the vest.
Of course.
Because, you know, it was a tough decision for him.
And did he just make the decision? How long has he known about the Sixers?
He just really decided on it, like
100%.
Bang, bang, yeah.
Was it down to the Sixers and Golden State at the end?
It was pretty layered across the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were the deciding factors?
Well, I think, you know, obviously the most important thing is once you had a conversation with your family and they are okay with it, I think it's all, you skin downhill at that point. Now you can really
but wait a minute, he has the conversation with the family because he's thinking about Philly. And because I imagine if it's Golden State, you don't have to talk to anyone. It's right
there. It's very easy, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but Philly or Miami is...
The distance, yeah, that plays a huge role. I think he talked about it, you know, being just so far away. But, you know, I think it's a testament to what his family has always meant to him and how they supported him and understanding just his love for the game. Man, this is a love for the game decision.
Right.
Like nobody at this level, at this accomplished, you know, this successful in life, still wanting to play the game. You know, I don't know what else you can say about it outside of someone being very obsessed with the game of basketball.
LeBron joins the Sixers in a packed conference.
Yeah.
And listen, and by the way, the analytics around Jaylen Brown, where, the analytics underrate him. Does this actually mean he's overrated by others? But with LeBron on the team, I'll bet you the analytics change for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to have to run point forward anymore.
I think he helps everybody on that team, though. I really do. I think when you talk about a secondary playmaker, if he's your secondary playmaker, you have the best secondary playmaker in the league, right? I think he helps Tyrese in terms of the pick and roll action, that 1-3, 1-4 pick and roll. I think Nick Nurse can take a little page out of Ty Lue's book and using Tyrese as the screener. You know, when you talk about a guy like VJ Edgecombe, he definitely helps him because when you're so athletic, you tend to lean on that a lot. But in VJ's case, like really honing in and being efficient, right? Because now, the thing about it, when you add a LeBron, everything changes. And I really mean this. That's why it's not easy for someone who is predeemed to be a star player on the team. When he comes, you know, he kind of shows you how big or little of a star you actually are. And it takes a special kind of person mentally to embrace that, right? And I think that the familiarity with him and Tyrese, you don't have to worry about that with Tyrese, right? Because they know each other, they embrace each other, they've been working out together for the last 5 years. So you won't have any pushback. That's like, you can't pay for that. You can't put a value on that. And then just the work ethic coming in every day in that facility is you get better by osmosis. Like it's hard for you not to want to be better. Your peers
influence you
when you have that around you. And then one key word I think that'll be very important that I think the Sixers will give off and the city of Philadelphia will give off is just a profound appreciation for him. And I think that'll be big going into the season. And, look, I think do they have the perfect roster? Probably not. Do they have a pretty good starting five? Probably so. Do they have the capabilities to, do some trim around the edges stuff? Absolutely. When you have guys like Bob Myers and Gans and Jameer Nelson, and also don't forget Elton Brand still there as well. And so, look, it was a decision that he made. It was really a tough decision for him. All I had to do was really set the table, getting all the information, and you allow him to make the decision. And, I'll let him talk more about his decision at the time being, go in depth. But, these things are always fun, man. These things, you've been with me throughout the whole thing, going back and forth. And, all the speculation out there, as you can see, was so far left. I felt bad for my guy, Adam Schefter. Somebody sold him a lemon. And, it's just one of those things, man. But I'm happy for LJ. I'm happy for the Sixers. You know, respect to, you know, all the other teams that was, you know, in position, but ultimately it's his choice. And, you know, I think that choice, that's a roller coaster ride. You can see from the end of the season to this and this and this and this and the emotional attachments and how hard it is to go away from a Miami and go away from a Cleveland, and you know who wouldn't want to play with Steph Curry and Draymond Green?
That would have been a lot of fun.
You get what
that
I'm
would have
saying?
been a lot of fun, but it's not the choice of someone who is really pursuing a championship.
Yeah, but what I'm explaining to you is, I'm not in his shoes. I'm on the other side, but I'm seeing the emotional roller coaster every day, every single
You mean
day.
the pendulum is going back and forth?
Yeah, and the beauty of it was the first time I got to see him be a kid again.
So in other words, part of the difficulty in the decision was they really were a lot of attractive options.
How could it not be?
Right.
You know, home is home. Miami is Miami. It's Patton's, and
they have a good team.
And I think that, you know, I think that everyone was at some point leading the race.
There are reports that Embiid is like in better shape than he's been, et cetera, et cetera. Was that part of the process, vetting kind of like where Embiid was physically?
Yeah, I don't want to be too hard on Embiid, but yeah, you know, you have to think about all those things. And from my understanding, Embiid is doing a hell of a job this summer. It's the first summer he's actually been healthy, not having some type of surgery over the summer, which is always good. And look, anybody knows if Embiid is your best player on the team, you're a really good team. If he's your second best player on the team, you're an unbelievably good team. If he's your third best player on the team, this is basically the U.S. I mean, this is a.
But the crazy thing about Embiid, Rich, is he's like AD. Actually, when he's on the floor,
he's
healthy,
unstoppable.
He's
unstoppable.
actually he's by far the best player on that team.
Yeah, he's
if
unstoppable.
He's healthy.
Look, I'm happy for LJ. He made his choice. He's happy with it. It's weird, you know, seeing a guy that accomplished still get excited and a little nervous and all. It's actually a cool thing to see because he's not too cool about the situation.
He's not trying to play it like he's not excited.
Like,
when was the decision made?
Shit, I mean, probably about, I don't know, what time was it last night? 1 in the morning, something like that.
Now I know why you didn't see the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Now I know why.
Kind of went through it all yesterday, back and forth, 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 back and forth. I didn't really sleep. I haven't had a haircut, you know. I'm in the grind of it all, but I'm happy for him.